Are we ready as teachers for an AI-powered class? And how do we balance the practicals that we have built from our colleges or we have learned throughout the years into our classrooms? How do we build that? How do we build the theories? How do we balance the theories and the practicals so that we are able to bring out the best version of an AI creative student in our generation? This is the podcast, Lady Entrepreneur. Karibu sana. So today, I want to explore some of the things that cause a lot of challenges to us when we are trying to balance the practical and the theory. And there are a few gaps. I want to highlight 6 gaps that cause this challenge. And the first gap that causes a disconnect between the theoretical and the practical is the lack of contextual relevance. What does that mean? The lack of context. When you don't have context, when you don't have context, then when your context is not relevant, it means your students do struggle to build things in their classroom, to connect with the theory that you're teaching in that class. And when you give them an assignment, they are struggling to get out of themselves. As I've said in other podcasts, what we are saying, we are building a student who is a creator. And to bring out a student who is a creator, it is to bring out that student who you have already shown, you already know your purpose, you know your value, you know your what your vision is about for them, or even you understand their vision and you are able to support them and carry them forward with it in that stage. And I also highlighted how to do that using the heroic principles, that of self-awareness, of being ingenious, of being heroic, and being a loving teacher. And so today, when we look at this lack of contextual relevance, we are saying the student needs to understand the value that they are going to acquire from that context. For example, you're teaching mathematics. How many of us learned mathematics? And there are some formulas up to today you have never understood what they were for, what they were, how they would apply in your life. But if you as a teacher were keen enough to tell them, this parabolic let me see whether I can remember one of my favorites, factors, vectors, how relevant they were. I did not have to wait all the way up to the university and do a simple course a small course in engineering, or maybe flip through an engineering class to understand, this is about forces. This will help me in understanding forces and energies. No, I should have learned it from the first day when I was being taught in class 1, or in lower primary, or in upper primary, or in junior secondary. That this is how it can apply to my life and the work that I'm going to be doing in the future, especially as a student when I prepare myself for the AI revolution. So the first thing I'm saying that usually is a disconnect is a lack of contextual relevance. Help the students in your class to understand what this context they are learning in the classroom is for and how it will apply in the future of their when they leave for the college, or when they leave for work, and when they start trying to create or move to create with the AI. Now, the second one that also is a hindrance, or it causes a disconnect between theory and practice, is the right curricula. I know our government has really helped us to advance into the CBC and CBA, and we are grateful for the milestones. And we are happy that they are really working hard with many stakeholders, many private sector officials and institutions to encourage teachers to understand how to balance the curricula and to align the curricula to be able to be better equipped for the AI-powered student or creator that will be available for our AI revolution age, the automation age. And so, there is need for approval of processes. We need our governments, we need our policymakers to speed up the processes so that even when a teacher is in class, they are not feeling threatened. There's a time I went to a school somewhere in Limuru, and when I walked into the classroom and I was trying to train them on digital skills, they were telling me, even though you're teachers, this has not been allowed yet into our assessment evaluations. So when my evaluator comes to check on my work, they still need manual paper. They still need me to show my work on manual documents. And we are trying to tell them, no, now you can digitize, you can go paperless, you need to track your records, you can give real-time feedback to your students through these tools that we are giving you. And they were telling us that has not yet been approved in our classrooms, not yet. Yes, we have learned it, but it has to also come into our lesson plans. And that is one thing that needs to be resolved. The third thing that also is a hindrance or is also a disconnect, that causes a disconnect between theory and the practice in the classroom is standardized tests. Why do we have standardized tests? We are saying we want our students to be creators. And I've also mentioned that everybody was created in their own image. So everybody has their uniqueness. There is that seed they're supposed to bring out and flourish in the world and they're supposed to know what they're supposed to do, but in their own uniqueness. So when you force people to do standardized tests, you are somebody who loves numeracy or somebody who loves writing. Another person versus another person who loves analytics. Those are two different people. You need to allow people to express themselves and expose themselves in the same context. Yes, you have asked a question, but let them expose themselves in different ways. And what is your purpose as a teacher? To understand that they have understood, to express that, okay, I understand now you know this content and you can move forward. You are the one that is facilitating the journey of learning for this child. So before I go to the fourth, that point on standardized tests, it means that it doesn't allow inclusivity, it doesn't allow diversity in the classroom. And the AI revolution requires that. If we are to be well prepared, if we are to be well ready, you as a teacher need to know how to allow inclusivity in the classroom. If you have a small class, but you have some students that are having challenges, maybe they are visually impaired, or you have disabled children in the class, you're still teaching the same course. But yes, they can hear, part of them, they are not really, they are allowed to be part of the class, but they are really slow. Maybe they have ADHD, maybe they don't have autism, but they have dyslexia, but you journey with them according to their pace. So you are able to personalize how you test them. And that's very critical. And that helps you to become a good teacher who has instilled inclusivity and diversity in your classroom. So the fourth thing that causes disconnect in the theory and the practical ways of learning in your classroom would be the lack of resources. This I won't mention much because I've already highlighted in my previous podcast. So if you want to hear when I was beginning this podcast, this channel, I mentioned my journey, my personal journey, and how as I traveled to different schools and I have worked in different schools, the challenges were more about internet connectivity, lack of gadgets in the classroom, lack of digital literacies. We are still way behind. Most of our teachers still don't know how to operate a computer in full, in the speed that is right now. We are in an even faster speed. We are already talking about Snapchat. We are already talking about gamification. And we have not even learned how to do our work through the simple office tools that maybe like Microsoft Office tools that have been provided, or Zoho tools that have been provided to just do basic authoring. When I say authoring of work means using Excel to do your mathematics or to do your practice of science, and then you can also authoring using your documents. Authoring using another tool that you can use is the tools that are in there. So there are many tools in the office tool that you can use to author your work. There is also how to use. I know that many of you were able to use your Zoom and your Google Meet, your Microsoft Teams. You learned how to use a camera, but that was short-lived because it was just during the period of the pandemic, the COVID pandemic. But immediately after it was over, some of you stopped and you went back to the blackboard. We are saying it is time for us to embrace the technologies around us so that we are familiar with them, so that when AI, with the speed at which it has, which is really fast, you are able to embrace these things faster with your team and your classmates in the classroom. The other thing, the fifth issue that is problematic and causes disconnect with the theory and the practice in the classroom is the large class sizes. This is Kenya. Our classrooms are huge, 100, some even have 200 people in a class, especially colleges. Some have, well, if you have the money, you take to children to a school that has at least 20 or 10 to 20 to 50 students in a classroom. Those are still big classes. But we are saying, how do you allow yourself? If this is a hindrance, if this is a place that you need to resolve. We need to resolve it. We need to own it, and we say we can take care of this. The limitations that we are having to allow inclusivity, to allow the openness of creativity in each and every student in that class is valid, is good. We need to own it. As I talk to you, I'm talking to you as somebody who has already understood how to become a heroic teacher, which is what I mentioned in the other podcast. Please go watch it, like it, share it, and comment on it, and tell me what you think about being a heroic teacher, because we need you to become a heroic teacher in this generation. We need you to take your space as a hero that we want you to be, so that you can bring out the best in our children, or we are able to bring out that best version of a student who is AI powered, who is AI creative, who is able to blend so well with the communities around him and not feel intimidated because the progress is so much, so fast. The life is too fast. And how does he balance that? And so, when we are integrating these practical aspects, the final thing I know most teachers are concerned about is that causes us to balance our theory and our practicals is the administrative demands in our institutions. Most of us, I have an example from a friend of mine. I just met her the other day in the month of June. And her name is Teacher Lydia. And Lydia tells me she just graduated. She went for her teaching practice. And she walked into the staff room. The first month, Lydia was excited. She's a teacher and she's looking forward to teach. But she had her laptop, She had bought her a MacBook. She had her phone, and she was excited. Now she's a graduate. So she went into the staff room, and the principal walks in and asks her, "What are you doing? Why are you using your laptop in the staff room? No one should be using their phones in the staff room. We are not allowed. I'm going to switch off the internet in this school. Teachers should not be using any internet." And she was shocked because when she was leaving campus this year, she was told, now you can access, if there is internet in the school, you can build your lesson plans, your schemes of work easily with how we have taught you. She was angry. She was abused. She was really sad. She told me she could not last a month. And she left. Like, oh, if this is teaching, then let me just go and do it by myself. I'll start my own online tuition job or something else, support teachers in another way, but I am not going to be taken back in a space as a Gen Z where I'm already techno-savvy to be doing manual work, like everything manually. She was so angry, and she said, no, enough is enough, and she left. But we don't have to leave. We are saying, can all these teachers who have left because of these humiliations and bad administrative demands of maintaining the traditional ways of teaching come back? We are saying, let them be supported. Let internet connectivity be updated. You teachers, the teachers associations, the parent teachers associations, consider upgrading the internet in your schools. Why should your child be enjoying internet in their homes and they are not enjoying in class? Where are they creative on one side and where all the content is available? You are back at home or in the office, but you have left the teacher. Left your child in the hands of a teacher, but you're not allowing the teacher to bring out the best version of that child in the classroom. It's wrong. Let's expose our teachers well. And you see, when they are in a school where they are exposed to good internet, there is good controls, the teacher will be able to advance the correct ethical practices and moral practices of using this internet, and they will be able to advance this child to be the creators that you want them to be. So you parents, let's take up our roles. Let's engage and support the administrators in our institutions to bring the best facilities in our staff rooms and in our classrooms, so that we are bringing out an AI-powered graduate who is confident and happy into the world and a great citizen. So, with these 6 issues that are disconnecting the teacher from how they are applying their practical to their practical ways in the classroom with the theory, let me remind you what those are again. The lack of contextual relevance, the rigidity in the curriculum, the standardization of tests, the limited resources in our classrooms, the large class sizes, and the administrative demands. All these things need to be resolved, and you need to look into them so that you are able to know, how do I balance as a teacher when I'm given this opportunity in this school? How do I look at these aspects that are going to improve my environment, so that when a child walks into my class, I have already prepared a safe space for the child. I have prepared an easy space for the child to enjoy being the creators that they were meant to be from the beginning. Thank you very much. See you in the next episode. And remember to share, to subscribe, to like this podcast, and comment on it, and let me know what else you would like us to talk about. Asante.